What's
Well,
Quasimodo
can't see
doing these
the-
days?
Can't see our table though. What? Quasimodo?
Is it doing anything these days?
What?
Your old laptop.
No, it just sits there. There. Now our head's in it still. And now my head's cut off. Okay, this isn't connecting in yet. I'm having the same problems I had last week. Are you? There, okay, we can see the table and it's okay. I'm not picking up yet.
Actually, I think the heads were cut off before, but I think they're not on the picture. For some reason, it doesn't.
What? We're
No, I know that, but when you had it lower and it looked like our heads were cut off.
yeah.
See, look at our heads aren't cut off right now, but they're sort of almost cut off on there.
Oh. Well, as long as I can see the table, but I'm not connecting in. How is it that you're connecting in and I don't connect? I had the same
One
problem last
special.
week. What happened with it? Why did it work last week?
Hi, Bomo. Hi, Laura Nicholson.
Jack, I'm trying to get.
Hi, Laura Waldy.
Okay, I don't get it. Why I'm having
He's
this
having
problem.
technical difficulties.
Same thing happened last week, and I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't have a problem.
Apparently not. See, it won't pick me up. Am I not on the right network? No, I've got it on. Maybe it's the...
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everybody. Having a few little technical problems with my iPad here, so just bear with us
Hi,
for a
Teresa.
second. Okay, where's what I want? Try bland.
No, last time, remember, it sort of came up as a big picture, and then you...
Yeah, I know, and that was weird.
There
Okay.
at the bottom.
It's still not picking up. Well,
Well, you'll have to use mine then.
well, just wait a second.
Hi, Bonnie.
Maybe I can get it.
Hi, Teresa.
This is dumb. Maybe I need to reset the iPad, but I don't know why. They did something too to YouTube. I noticed today when I was setting up for this, they've changed things again, which they do, and they
Teresa
don't tell you about.
enjoyed your idiot quilter on Friday.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Thank you. I'm just still trying to get hooked in here so I can see what's going on. So, what's everybody saying?
Here, you can read mine.
Okay, so hi Laura and Nancy and Teresa and Roberta and Bonnie.
Hi, Laura. How's teaching going?
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. Get your take on it. Okay. I just love iPad technology when it works. When it doesn't work. Okay. Let's see what I get this time. Now I'm not connected. I don't have an internet connection. What
Go
the
back to blind too.
What the heck? Ugh, one thing after another here. It's going to be that kind of day, is it? Well, it isn't. It's disappeared again. Okay.
Okay, you got it now. There, it's at the bottom.
Yeah, I know, but I never go there. It's still not coming up. Okay, go to home. I'll go to home.
Yeah.
Well,
Is this part, is that, no.
no,
that's not.
that's not me. There, that's us there. So that's weird. It usually comes up in my videos, but it's
There
not.
you go.
It usually
Okay.
comes up in my videos, but it's not. Okay.
Comes up in my videos, but it's not.
Okay, turn that off. Okay, we got her now. Well, Bonnie says, it seems strange to me to see Walter so much taller than Stephen. He's not that much taller.
I am.
I think the camera's on an angle. Yeah, right. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, well, I'm 5'6" on a good day.
And
Probably shrinking.
And
but
I'm 5'9". I went for years for saying I was 5'8", and then my doctor says, she says, "How tall are you?" And I said, "I'm 5'8", and she goes, "Doesn't look that way." So she put me up against the wall and measured me and said I was 5'9". So I said, "Oh, that was news." I was telling everybody I was 5'8".
My IQ's bigger.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so welcome everybody. I hope you can hear us and see us and everything. This, when we do Art Attacks, it's a totally different setup because we're down in my craft room for this. And behind me is my latest creation, which is, I'm going to talk about that on my vlog tomorrow. I'm not going to talk about it today. So, little teaser for the vlog when it goes up tomorrow. And, yeah, so today we're going to do a little bit of an art attack, and I'm going to show Walter how to make these tricky little cards using a combination of what's called Brushos and,
Here, take one over.
yeah, take one over. We'll take them both over.
Okay.
A combination of using Brushos, which are a colored pigment that activates when you put water on it, and alcohol inks. Lighting's not too good over there for those.
The red ones come up better, but
Yeah. Well, anyways, I wish we had another camera set up in here that I could switch between the two. And I can if we were doing this as a Zoom, but I can't do it when we're doing a YouTube live because I just don't have the technology for that. But anyways, we'll get through it. Laura says, your beard makes you look shorter. I trimmed it today, this morning. But anyways, so that's what we're going to do. But before we get right into this, we're just going to have our general chit chat. So my mother might be moving. We got a notification this week, a letter. I think I've mentioned it before, they're building a new nursing home, the same company that my mother's owns the nursing home my mother's in now. And that's been underway for the last year and a half or so. And anyways, they're going to start moving residents in December, so they say. Now, last time we went over and looked at it, I didn't think they'd be that ready that soon.
I think
but
they're getting along with that.
But anyway, so we had to state whether or not, my mother wanted to move, and she does. And it'll be much nicer facility because the one she's in is very old. And although they keep it clean and everything like that, it's just the design of it is, the dining room she's on the second floor. The dining room's in the basement. They have like 2 elevators that can only hold so many people. It's a big rigmarole for the staff to get everybody down for their meals and things like that. Plus, there's a lot of other advantages to being in a new facility. And the other advantage is this facility is being built right next to the seniors' home residence that her best friends live in. In fact, they're within like a short walking distance, very short walking distance, under a block. If it's that.
Yeah, hopefully she can get in there because what the problem is that the nursing home that there's 2 nursing homes going to be amalgamated, and there's one that they're closing that have 60 residents, and they're supposed to be going to this new facility, all of them. And the one that she's in has 200 residents. So apparently 100 of the 200 residents are going to move into the new facility, and the other 100 residents are going to remain in the old facility for a while till they're planning to build another nursing home in that locality. But a lot of the people don't want their families moved to the new facility because it's in a different city. So there's a good chance that she would be able to stay or to be able to move to it, because if there's enough people that don't want their loved ones to be moved to the new facility, which is a little bit of a drive away from the old facility, then she has a good chance of moving.
Yeah.
But so we'll see.
So hopefully, she'll still find something to complain about, but
I'm sure of that.
yeah, it'll be a whole new set of complaints and whatnot. And thank you to those of you that have reached out to me and given me suggestions for, different things about my mother and stuff like that, and from your experience. And I do appreciate those suggestions. I have to say that most of those suggestions you're making, I have tried those in the past. But, I appreciate that other people
you
have
never know, you may
experienced
come
this.
up with
Yeah,
a new one that he hasn't thought of.
yep,
But
I don't think there's any solution for her. My mother is my mother. This is how she operates. But anyways, that was good news about the move, and we'll see how that all goes. Supposedly, in the letter that I received from them, it sounds like they're taking the responsibility for getting them moved in, moving all their stuff and everything like that. We'll see how that works out, if that is the case. And I'm still probably going to have to, negotiate with Bell Canada, which is the provider of my mother's TV and telephone service, to get the connection up. And I've done that so many times, and every time it's complicated. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is. But anyways, we'll see how it goes. And at least she'll be back in the town where she wants to be.
it's not like she'll be able to go anywhere.
No, that's right. But the one advantage is that she's going to be, very close to her best friends. Maybe she'll see them a little bit more frequently because, like I said, it's less than a block for them. It's walking distance. Even for someone with a walker, it's walking distance. So that'll be good. So Walter's been working on a shirt for me.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much on
Hadn't
it.
done much. But last week he showed the fabric that wasn't going to work and then the one he is going to use. So you did get a panel of
I
it
got
sort of
I
done,
got
didn't
the
you?
front done and put the pocket on, but I've been trying to get motivated to finish.
Well, it's not like I'll be wearing it until next summer, so since it's short sleeve, although soon, have to get rid of the short sleeves, it's starting to get a little cooler. Um, what have I been working on? Some more of my Christmas things and whatnot, and like the one behind me, and I'm not going to go into detail about it because that's for my vlog, not for our live, but yeah, I've been keeping busy, and I was in machine embroidering all afternoon, well, all day today. Finished that this morning, and then was working on another tile for my Christmas wall hanging, which is all machine embroidered and whatnot. So, yeah, we've been keeping busy on those things, and we did a little trip to a place we needed to get out. So on Thursday, it was a nice day, so we drove to a place called Aurelia, which is due north of us by about about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that, 75
Yeah.
minutes. Not a big distance. And we went up there because, well, one, to get out. Two, there is a nice little fabric store up there, a quilting store, so had to go and check that out. And yeah, well, okay, they were happy to see me because ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And I did do an idiot quilter, and I think some of you have seen it already, and I showed some of the things I got there. And then we had lunch out. And we're out on a patio. And boy, this place was definitely being very, very safe. And
All the tables were well spaced.
yep.
They at one point in time there were two tables that are fairly close together. They came out and put a plastic divider in between.
Big,
the
huge,
two.
heavy plastic divider. They rolled in between the two tables and everything like that. And it was quite nice, actually. What we had for lunch was good.
Yeah, it was good. And
We had chicken soft tacos, but the ones I had were really good. You tried one kind. Yours were okay too, but I
yeah,
thought
mine
mine were a
actually
little.
yours were a little tastier.
Yeah.
Mine was okay, but it wasn't as tasty. But it was good too. So
Which basically, we love tacos, and oftentimes on a Friday night or that, we'll have tacos. But I said to Walter after we got these ones, we should think outside of the box on tacos. We usually make them, with ground beef and, tomatoes and green peppers. Some these ones had chicken, different kind of sauce, and mine had also bacon on it. Something a little different. Hadn't really thought about that.
actually, it was almost like a club.
Yeah, it was
does,
like a club sandwich almost, except
Yeah.
as a taco. So it was pretty good. Bonnie says she's doing machine embroidery today as well. Yeah, I guess I was going to say, is it a good day for it? Weather here's good. How's the weather been down there, Bonnie? You guys got the tail end of that hurricane, didn't you? Um, and we didn't hear much more about it. Bonbon says shrimp tacos are super delish. Actually, they had shrimp tacos.
Yeah, I think they were breaded shrimp.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I like shrimp. Um, but I'm always afraid that the shrimp might taste, fishy. And I know if it does, it's not fresh. I know all about that. But because I do not like seafood, except for like lobster and shrimp, that's about all
They had
that I
fish
like.
tacos too.
Oh God, no! Kill me now.
Well, actually, I'm a little more tolerant towards
Yeah, you
that
are,
because
but
I did actually remember at that Los Cabos where we used to go.
yeah.
I had their fish tacos.
Mm.
Once I tried it, it was okay, but I don't know if I'd run out and order them again.
Now I've just always had an aversion to fish. Always. Um, Bonnie says nothing from hurricane in Fredericton and the weather is gorgeous. Well, that's good.
Well, that's good.
Great. Um, so, anyways, yep, it was nice. And then we went to a place. I'm going to show this on my blog tomorrow, but it's called Paper Capers. I've been there before. It is this craft store. They sell, card making, scrapbooking supplies, mixed media supplies. But it's like when you first walk in the door, the first
It's like a
impression
bomb
is
went
you
off.
want to walk right back out because it looks like it's a junk store. But it's not. It's just so disorganized and there's so much stuff in it. It's like a rabbit's warren negotiating through it. But you want to know something? I think that makes it really kind of interesting because, you look around and you find things that you may never have seen before or didn't know existed or whatever. So I like going in there. I think I dropped about $50 in there on a few things. They used to have, although their supply now was really low, they used to have a lot of Tim Holtz products. And, when I was doing majorly into paper crafting, I loved anything by Tim Holtz. And I still have lots of Tim Holtz. But they seem to have stuff that Tim Holtz I've seen online, but I've never seen it in any scrapbooking stores I go to. And they have it. This time, though, the pickings were slim. I don't think they've gotten much Tim Holtz in quite a while. But it's kind of interesting to go there. And then we went and bought some butter tarts. Our nephew had been up there and he says, you've got to go because he knows that I love butter tarts. And in fact, I'm a bit of a snob about butter tarts. I'm always looking for the elusive, perfect butter tarts. And I'm very, very picky about butter tarts. Okay? And I've been to places that have said, these are the world's best. You got to go there. And I've tried them and they've just been utter crap in my mind. Well, our nephew said, you got to try these ones at this particular bakery. They're really good. So we went in, and they looked okay. And so I bought a half dozen of them, brought them home, and I still have some. They're not bad. As butter tarts go on the butter tart 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the absolute most perfect thing you want to be buried with it, and 1 being okay, I might as well be eating dirt. I would put them at about a 7, maybe 7.5. The filling was good. The pastry wasn't bad, except the pastry was a little, it's almost like it was soaked in oil. It didn't taste oily, but the pastry just sort of crumbled in your hand and it was all very, like it had been, something had soaked through it. So I don't know what that was all about.
Bombo doesn't know what a butter tart is.
Oh, well, definitely, Bombo, you are not a Canadian.
Yeah, they're kind of a Canadian thing.
They are kind of a Canadian thing. A butter tart is basically sugar and a form of syrup. It could be maple
Actually,
syrup
it's sort of like a tart form of a pecan pie.
without the pecans.
Without the pecans.
And runnier.
And runnier, yeah.
And they usually have raisins in them or without. It depends if you like raisins. I like raisins. To my way of thinking, a butter tart's not a butter tart
It's
unless
made
it's got
with
raisins.
corn syrup usually and butter. And
They're definitely not diet, and
No.
they're terribly sweet too.
Yes.
That's what makes them good. Teresa says Nancy's never had a butter tart either. But
They're very sweet.
yeah,
And
Teresa's
actually, I don't mind them, but I'm not crazy about them. He really likes them.
Oh, I love
so.
them. They're like
I have made them a few times before. I should probably make them again. I have Corinne's recipe
oh yeah.
somewhere.
Have you ever made hers before?
No, but I've made that other recipe that I've had that
Yeah.
actually it's pretty good.
Yeah, but you made them and you didn't use your own pastry, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought you made them with the Tenderflake pre-made
no,
ones
I
at
made
one time.
the my own.
Yeah, well,
pastry.
you make good butter tarts. So yes, you should be making more butter tarts.
Yeah, okay.
But they're definitely not low-cal. They're very sweet, as I said, but they're delicious. They're a food group all unto themselves. Teresa says there's a wonderful pie shop here in London that makes amazing butter tarts and pecan pie. Not cheap, but so worth it. Yeah, butter tarts, depending on where you get them, they can be $5 or $6 for half a dozen. I've paid as much as, I think there was one place I got them. I paid what, $15 or $16 for half a dozen.
Yeah,
Forget
it was
what-
like $2.25 or $2.50 a tart
Tart.
or something.
and they weren't worth it.
No,
Uh,
that was that place that we used sandwich shop we used to go to. You know the sandwich shop. That
Oh yeah, yeah. It's 2 steps up or
Yeah,
3
I
steps
don't think
down,
it's there
or what's
anymore.
that? No, they only seem to have
But they were expensive there and they weren't great. So
no. So yeah, I'm very picky. I'm a butter tart snob. I will tell you that.
yeah,
right
we went
now.
to another place called Dudu's Bakery. Well, I know it's
Yeah.
a great name. That supposedly had these fantastic butter tarts.
Have won awards.
Won
apparently, whoever gives out
And
awards
somebody
for that.
told me, "Oh, you should get the butter tarts at Dudu's Bakery." And I said, "Okay." We stopped by there one time. It was in it's in a real weird location.
Yeah,
It's in the middle of nowhere. And so we stopped there when we were going up to a different city, and it was on the way. And he got some, but they were really sweet. You said
Oh yeah,
sweeter
they
and-
were like my teeth are aching sweet. That sweet, and I don't enjoy that kind of sweetness with them. But no,
And
and
they
the
weren't that
pastry,
great.
the pastry was cardboard.
Yeah.
They looked really good, but now, and they won awards. And I was thinking, who are you in competition with then? So
And somebody kept raving about that they were wonderful, but
Anita says they had sugar waffles yesterday. What are sugar waffles? I don't know if I know what those are. Are they like a Belgian waffle, or I've never heard of sugar waffles. But anyway, so it was a nice day to get out and do it. Almost felt civilized. In 6 months, that's only the 3rd time we've actually gone out to eat. And all 3 times they were patio settings, of course. Still not comfortable with the idea of going inside to a restaurant, even with the what they're doing for social distancing and the whole bit. I'm just not comfortable with that. And apparently in Toronto, they're having a lot of problems right now with that. But I don't want to talk about that stuff
those
today.
are what Belgian sugar waffles.
Whoa. Okay. Actually, you can buy those in the grocery
Yeah, I
store.
think I've seen
those.
them before.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to maybe.
I kind of
Try
like
them
waffles. I make waffles every now and then. We've got a waffle iron thing. Actually, it's a part of our
We have a
grill.
Cuisinart griddle, and it has interchangeable waffle iron plates for it.
Plates for it. And I make them every now and then. But anyways, we are not going to talk about the COVID. Not today, and not politics. This is Art Attack. But before we do that, here's something that is interesting.
It is sort of politics, but
And it is sort of politics. But I got a notice, and Laura N., she will understand what I'm talking about. I got a notice from the Ontario College of Teachers. The Ontario College of Teachers is the regulatory board for teachers in this province. And you have to be a member of it basically you have to pay for a license every year to teach. And I did that for many, many years. It's more or less a money grab by the government. But they send out an announcement to all of us that are retired now that because we have a shortage of teachers right now, because of the whole situation, they're looking for retired teachers to come out of retirement. But here's the kicker. You come out of retirement, you have to pay for your license, which is, what did you say? It was $170 or something?
$170 a year,
Plus a reinstatement fee, which was another
$130.
$130 for $300 in, first of all, to work for the government. On top of it all, being a retired teacher, there are stipulations on your teacher's pension in terms of what kind of jobs and how long you can work at another job while you're collecting a pension before it affects your pension. And so this is nuts. So Walter did some research on this, and what did you find? The statistics? How many?
Well, there was 132,000 notices sent out, and so far they've gotten 600 positive replies. I'm guessing that's probably mostly either newly retired teachers or teachers that are broke. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever. I don't know what of those 600 are actually retired teachers. I've saw a lot of very negative responses
Yeah.
to it, the Ontario government's solution to a poor plan that they've got, and the other one was I'd rather dig out my appendix with a nail file.
I mean, sure. I wrote a comment and said, right, I'm going to pay this kind of money to get my license back, the whole bit, to walk into my death. Right. I don't think so.
No, that they've got it's actually because they actually prior to the pandemic, we weren't talking about that, but prior to the pandemic, the Ontario government was trying to fire teachers.
Yeah.
They were trying to get rid of teachers. They were by introducing larger class sizes and get rid of existing teachers to reduce the numbers. And now they don't have enough teachers, and they're trying to get more back.
Yeah,
So,
really. Not doing that. I just thought that was just hilarious in such a black way. But
anyway,
dark way. Anita says a pancake-like mixtures that's dipped on a snowflake-like form and fried on in oil, then sprinkled with confectionery sugar. Oh yeah, they sell those things at the exhibition and stuff like that. I've seen those.
I've had
Yeah.
those actually before, and the picture that I looked up is very similar to that.
I've never had them. And any time that I ever said I thought I'd like to try one of those when the times came up, he says, "No, I don't want any of those. You won't like them.
No, I never said that.
Too sweet. Rot your teeth."
Yeah, I said they're too fattening.
Yeah, it's like asking your mother, when you're 5 if you want something like it. No, you're not. And then he turns around and he says, "Well, you can have one if you want one." Well, no, what's the fun now in that? I mean, kill it. Jeez, you can be such a bitch.
Yeah, I know why you married it.
Well, true. Everybody marries somebody like their mother.
I'm not skinny and short. And you're short but not skinny.
You're still a bitch. Jeez. Okay. So anyways, that's all the news that's there to print, except for the fact that I am reading a new book. Now, I don't know if anybody you probably are familiar. He's a very famous writer, Ken Follett. Ken Follett's written all kinds of books over the years. One of his most famous ones, because they made it into a 6-part television or miniseries a few years ago called The Pillars of the Earth. Well, he just came out with the prequel. That's it. That's the word I want. Prequel to Pillars of the Earth, and it's called The Evening and the Morning. So I just bought it on my e-reader, kind of a thing, because I love Ken Follett's books. I've read many of them, and this one takes place in the year 997. So it's definitely, and it moves up from there. So I don't know where it's going yet, because I've only read the first part of it, like the first couple of chapters, and some little village has just been attacked by Vikings and burned to the ground. And there's all kinds of things going on. But anyways, if you loved Pillars of the Earth or any other of Ken Follett's books, I imagine this one's going to be just as good. So that's what I'm reading now. I just finished another book, I think I mentioned it before, called Out North, which was a book about LGBTQ history in Canada. Pretty dry. I thought it was going to be more interesting than it was, and there were some parts of it that were, but it's definitely a book that's written from a historical perspective with an analysis of events, how things led to one thing and another. And yeah, there were some things I certainly didn't know, which were kind of eye-opening, but in terms of a really good read, wasn't really that good a read. So, unless you like dry, boring documentation
Documentaries.
Documentary. Yeah, I'm
You
having.
can't speak, right?
Oh, well, bite me. What a bitch. Jeez, really. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so before I strangle him, because there'll be plenty of time for that, we are going to do our art attack today. So it is going to be a little messy. You may want to keep your thing out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, as Walter showed you, these kind of cards. Now, what I'm focusing on here is a technique for doing backgrounds. And the reason I got thinking about this idea this week was because there was, I'm just going to out of shot for a second. I saw a video and decided to try it myself where someone took photo quality paper, you know, the shiny stuff, and they put liquid acrylic paints onto it, folded in half, put little drops of acrylic paint in the fold, folded it over, and, you know, just kind of pressed it out, and you got these sort of like, they look like ink blot tests from it. But it was kind of interesting. It's kind of a variation on the paint pouring kind of effect without paint pouring. And what I did with these is I actually scanned them into my computer and reprinted them onto photo quality paper again so I can use them multiple times. And then I cut out butterflies with my die cutting. Actually, I used my Cricut, but you could use your die cutting machine if you have a Sizzix or something. And you get things like this. The light down more. Which, the ones in the middle are actually printed on just regular cardstock, so they have more of a matte finish. And then these ones are printed on the photo glossy. Put through the Cricut and creates these butterflies. You could create anything you want. It doesn't have to be butterflies. It's just I have a thing about butterflies. Especially for embellishments. So I thought it was kind of a cool technique. But then I got thinking about it and thought, well, what else could you do? What other things? And I have a house full of mediums. So I haven't used them in a long time, but I have my Brushos. Now, you probably are familiar with Brushos, or maybe you're not. But what Brushos are actually powdered pigment. They come in these little bottles. They're very highly concentrated little crystals of pigment. But the thing that makes Brushos a little bit unique, and then instead of just like, you can buy pigments, these ones have different colors mixed together. So although they may be predominantly one color, say like purple, there may be some blue or gold color in there as well. And you really don't know what you've got until after you've used it, as you'll see today. These are activated with water, and they are expensive, but I've had this set for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, maybe longer than that, and they never go bad, and you use such a tiny amount of it, as you'll see today. But we're going to try the same technique that I did with the paint, except with Brushos. And
Well, I guess you wouldn't have to worry about them drying out.
well, no, you don't. But they're kind of fun to use. So what we have in front of us is a sheet of photo quality printer paper. You know, the glossy stuff. And I've already folded it in half, put a crease in it. But we're going to work with it opened up first. Now, this is the option. You may want to wear gloves because these pigments are so...
It's safe.
Ooh.
Safe crafts.
Ooh. And after we're done here, we'll do a digital exam. No. Oh, doctor's in the house. Hi, Jeannie. So, the reason the gloves is because this stuff is so pigmented, it will stain your fingers, and it does take a while to get it out from that. But here's all you got to do, Walter. You just pick whatever color's grabbing you.
How do I know which color to pick?
Well, you see the little splotches on the top?
Yeah.
They give you an indication, but as I said, they will be different. And what you do is, you don't need a lot of it. You just shake some crystals onto the dry, we're doing this dry, paper. And then take another color or two And you don't want too much of this stuff. Just lightly season it. We'll call that. And then I've given you a spray bottle of water. I'll wait till you're finished dabbing.
Okay.
Okay, so all you do is you take, now, you don't just go down here close to it. You're going to mist it over top of it. So just sort of, and you'll see they'll start to dissolve. And give it a few seconds between squirts. You can't really control what's going to happen here, but if you put too much water on it, you're going to get a puddle of mud. Okay, so when you've got it fairly juicy, this would look good just as it is this way. And I know you're probably having trouble seeing what we're doing here, but I can't tip it up yet because it'll splash. Fold your paper in half and just sort of press it away from the fold, and it will leak out. This is why we have the gloves and paper towels. And then when you've done that, open it up and see what you have. Here's what I have. And it's still a little wet, so you can tip it around. Now, if you want more pigment on it, I think mine's pretty good, but yours you might want to put a little bit more. So all you do is just shake a little bit more on, add some more water, and then you can have a little fun with this. If you've got enough water on it and it's running, hold it so it runs down. And you can get some neat effects when you do that. So we'll see what Walter comes up with here in a second. And as I said, you can't control this much more than what we're doing now, so you get what you get. But hold back on how much color you put on, because it go to mud. Yep. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, we're
Okay. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to dry them. So here's your gun. You may have to. That's as far as you can go. I didn't get the other one out. Well, I've got my other one here, but that's as far as the cord's going to go. So you'll have to get cozy. This is going to be a little bit loud, sorry. And what you can also do is you can take a paper towel, and on some areas where maybe some of the water has pooled, you can just lightly blot it.
There's my paper towel.
Have to do everything?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to worry about it going getting it absolutely perfectly dry at this point yet. So here's what mine is looking like.
Mine looks like a butterfly.
Mine looks like no, never mind. So there's what we've got here. Now that's the one method. We'll just put these up here to dry a little further. And I'm going to give you another sheet of this, folded in half, with the photo part on the inside. And actually over here there is a bone folder which will help with the folding.
Bone folder.
Now, you don't have to do it using this fold it squishy method. You could just take your photo paper and just, you know, put it all over, whatever. This is just, I'm kind of copying the technique that I showed you earlier with the acrylic paint. Now, this time what we're going to do is sort of in reverse. Instead of putting the pigment powder on first, we're going to put water on it first. So, you just get it wet. And this time you're going to see the colors start to burst. Now, if you find that they're not, you've got a fair amount of water on there, so you're okay. I need a little bit more on mine. Ooh, I almost like that one without even folding it. A moment, but I'm going to fold it. Only I'm just going to do a light press on this one. Now you see on mine, I've got a lot of stuff running, so I've got some pooling, so I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm letting it drip in different parts. Now, you don't have to worry about getting the whole all the white space covered on these because we're gonna be cutting these up.
Like it's shitty.
Like a what?
Cutting it out.
Oh.
Oops, I'm leaking.
Yeah, I told you it would be. That's why I told you. That's why we're wearing the aprons and why I've got everything covered with my newsprint and why we've got paper towels. And if you want, you can always add more color on top of it.
Come on, mine's stuck together.
Having a little problem? Ooh! Ooh, pretty. Now, you might want to blot. As usual, I'm the one that teaches him how to do this, and his stuff always comes out better than mine. And we'll give it pretty dry. Yes, Judith, you could. You could make paper beads out of them. I did that once.
Paper beads.
Yeah, paper beads. It's the way you cut the paper in sort of the angle pieces and you roll them. I made some once a long time ago. I don't know if it would work with using photo paper, but you could do the same technique on cardstock or on copy paper. You're not going to get quite the same effect as you'll get on photo quality paper because of the smoothness, the shininess, but you could do it.
Did you put it on the shiny side?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you not?
Yeah, I did. I just, your paper didn't look shiny.
Yeah. How shiny did you want it?
No, it just doesn't look shiny from my angle. No, it is. Yeah, I'm very pleased with mine.
What's that?
I'm very pleased with mine.
I'm very glad you are. Now, one thing I like to do when they are dry.
Oh, that's mine.
I'm not gonna. This is mine. Okay. Bumble says, do all containers have mixtures of colors in one? I'm just thinking so that if I want to maybe make a fall color design, would there always be pinks and such? No, they don't. You can, if you go to the ones that are the oranges and the reds, they'll have some yellows kind of in that, and those would make great fall colors.
Yeah, I picked one I think that has blue and purple in it. And then one that had yellows, and of course when the blue and the yellow mixed, they turned green. So
Yeah. So yes, you could do fall colors with this as well. And like I'm using a couple of different colors. If you stuck to one of these, you would get a closer color to what you want. Now, the last thing that I like to do when it's fairly dry is these are crystals. And if you were to take your hand, and you can probably feel it through your glove, it feels rough, right? That's because some of the crystals have not dissolved yet.
Yeah.
So if you take a paper towel or a soft cloth and just wipe it over the surface, that'll get rid of some of that grittiness. Ooh, shit. Shoot. Okay, sorry about the sound on that one, people. I just hit the microphone with my Brushos.
Actually, it actually made it a little more vivid when I did that.
Yeah, it will. Because you're getting rid of the powder. You're actually kind of polishing it. That's why, like these paper towels are not your ordinary everyday paper towels. They're a little bit stronger paper towels.
Industrial.
They're industrial paper
They're
towels.
often used in car shops and
Yeah.
stuff. And actually, they're kind of reusable. They can get them wet. And
Yeah, they stand up a little better. They're more expensive, but I buy them at Costco. But I like them better than ordinary paper towels. Okay, so we're done with the Brushos, but the other thing you can do, but I don't know if we need to do it today. I don't think we do. These are fine. They draw. The other thing that I do like to do sometimes is I get a clear coating, like what they call an art fixative. This one is a low odor clear gloss finish, and I would lightly spray over the top of these to seal them. But these aren't going to touch water. They will not reactivate. They're not like Tim Holtz's Distress products. Once they are dry, they will not reactivate when water's put on them. So they're already water repellent. It's just that if you've got any of that powder left on it and you're worried about it, if you give it to somebody that something's going to come off, but I got mine off pretty good. Yeah, you did too. So I don't think we'll bother with this because it's low odor, but there's still a bit of a smell. And we could just be very happy.
Anita says something about, could you use fabric paints on fabric, fold them together for fabric? Probably.
Yeah, except the only thing about using fabric paints is you would have your fabric would absorb your paint very quickly, so you might not get the spread, but you could do
You
it.
could give it a try.
You give it a try. Yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I mean, get a piece of fabric that you don't really care about.
Oh, Teresa says, I see a green strip on the table between you guys. Is that my side, your side kind of thing? Yes.
No.
I'm holding down. I've got several sheets of newsprint here. I'm just holding them down to the table. But that's not a bad idea.
Actually, when I used to do stained glass, they actually put strips of tape on the table between customers because people were getting upset that people were encroaching on each other's spaces.
Oh. And Bonbon says, I mean, colors we didn't want in a design. You don't have, with Brushos, you don't have that kind of control. You'd have to experiment first with what colors are going to come out because there's no real rhyme or reason, and they don't tell you. They'll just list their colors as this is purple. And as I said, it's going to be made up. It could have specks of blue in it and maybe a little yellow or something like that. So no, you don't have the control, which is kind of what makes them interesting because you never know how it's going to look. However, if you really want to control the color, they might not be right. Or what you could do is you can put a little of them into a paint palette or on a little plastic plate or something, wet it, and use a paintbrush with them, and because you could check the colors then and see what you could do with it. But no, that's the beauty of Brushos. That's what they're designed for. They're designed for this sort of randomness. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut these down, and you're just going to cut them in half to start. And one half we're not going to use today. and you're going to take the other half and you're going to cut them to the size of 4 inches by 5 inches. And actually, you're only going to use 2 of them. So those, I've got my 2. Oh, I forgot. Here were 5 inches here. 4 by 5.
Okay.
So cut them in half. And then you've got it. Now, I could have cut all of these down to this, but just for the sake of today, we're only making 2 cards each, so I only need 2 backgrounds. That's why I'm doing it this way right now. But certainly don't throw these things away.
How can I tell where the bleed is?
Just right there. You've got it.
And then 4 by 5.
Yep. Now the reason we're cutting them down to 4 by 5 is we're going to mount them on a card base, and that's going to be, by cutting them to 4 by 5, it's going to leave a white border equidistant all the way around when we mount them onto this card. So this is the front of our card. This is our background.
Oh, no.
Oh, before we do that, though, I need to do one more thing. Ooh, Anita, you just are living dangerous, aren't you? She says, I wonder what would happen if you splattered bleach on the Brushos. I don't know, but I'm not trying it, because bleach and I don't get along well. That is an interesting no thought.
Not great size. That doesn't look great.
What, did you know?
4.
4.
Oh, no, 4.
No, 4.
4.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
good.
No, I'm not supposed
Yeah,
to screw
4
it
by
up. And
then 5.
5. Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
okay. You got 1.
Okay.
And I'll make one from those other. Yeah, you might want to plan with that. Well, it doesn't matter actually. Look. Walter's guillotine challenged.
Okay.
Okay, you got your 2 pieces? Okay.
Oh, that doesn't look great.
No,
Hang on. 4.
4.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that wrong. And that one's 5. I know that one's
Yeah.
right. So that's 5. Okay, that's right. For some reason, I'm doing it wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
So these ones you don't need now, so we'll take these out of the way. We're just going to work with those 2 you just cut. You're a messy crafter.
Yeah, well, so what? I'm also a messy sewer. You know that.
are. Great. Okay,
I'm
so
a sewer.
a sewer. A sewer. Okay. Put this away. All right. Let's just clean up this mess so people can see what we're doing. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we can make another layer. For those of you that do art journaling, you'll know what I mean by layers. We're going to add another element to these. And we're going to do this with just a simple background stamp. So pick,
Come out and lay it down.
yeah, pick from those 4. Pick one you like. Well, you can pick 2, but pick one to start with. I'm going to take that. Okay. Now, we're going to use Stays On ink for this. The reason I'm using Stays On is it's a solvent ink. It, as it's called, Stays On. It'll stay on anything. You can actually stamp on glass with this, or plastic, or acetate. Because we're using photo quality paper, it has a shiny surface. If I was to use the Distress inks, they might bead up on it. They wouldn't necessarily be absorbed, because Distress inks and other kinds of inks usually are absorbed into the paper. Whereas on photo quality paper, the ink would stay on the surface and would take a long time to dry if it did dry, and it would probably smudge. This won't because it's a solvent ink. So all we're going to do is, this is the stamp I picked.
I'm just still debating, but I think that's the stamp
Okay.
I picked.
And just to add a little dimension, so just ink it up, and you want to be generous. And then take it and just slap it down onto your card. Give it a good press.
Smells like almonds.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring it up closer. But you can see the texture now that I've gotten by using that stamp.
Does it matter if I put it on both?
Yeah, you do it on both if you want to use the same one on both.
No, I didn't. I should have inked it up more.
What? Yeah, but that's okay too. Now you could use any kind of rubber stamp you like. A really nice effect, and I like to do this a lot, is to use a script stamp, because I just like the effect
I don't
of
know if I like
script.
that one.
What? Well, do you want a different one? You've got more there. You can cut another piece.
No, it's okay. I'll live with it. It's growing on me.
Like a fungus, yeah. Okay. Now the other advantage of this ink is it dries extremely fast, so it's dry now. We don't need to add any heat to it because it is now dry. So what we're going to do is mount those to the back of our card bases. So 2 card bases for you, 2 card bases for me, and you could use glue, whatever. We're just using tape runners. These are not dollar store tape runners. These are Tombow tape runners. They're the ones I like the best. The dollar store ones don't hold very well, at least in my experience. So you're just going to put 4 strips of tape on it. Make sure you have your card the right way so it opens from the right. And just eyeball it for positioning the white around. So those of you that make cards, oops, I'm out of tape on that one. For those of you that make cards on a regular basis, you know exactly what it is that we're doing right now. You could round the corners with a corner rounder. You could go around the edges with a little bit of the ink as well if you want to give it another dimension. I'm a little crooked on that one, but it'll have to do. So here's our card bases. My card bases now. Now these on themselves, if you want a quick set of cards to make up for all occasions, you could just leave them like this and then write something inside of them and away you go. And I do that a lot when I make cards because it's very simple to do. And there's Walter's cards. Okay, very nice. All right, so we're just going to put those to the side for now because we're going to do something else. We're going to up it up. We're going to put an embellishment on these. And as I said, we're going to focus on butterflies with this.
Do I still need to have my gloves on?
Do you still need to have your gloves on? Yes, because we're going to be
okay.
working with alcohol now.
Ooh, alcohol.
Not the kind you like. Okay, so let's get out our alcohol inks. Now, alcohol inks work best on photo quality paper or Yupo. And in fact, we're going to use Yupo today. And what is Yupo? Yupo is plastic. It's plastic paper, basically. I get it in these little... Wait, on one sheet there. There's one sheet for you. Ranger has it, but you can go to an art store and you can pick up a pad of Yupo. I think it runs you probably about $20 for 10 sheets. It's not cheap stuff. Now I'm noticing the difference between the Yupo I bought in the art store and the Yupo that Ranger puts out is
It's thinner.
Rangers is thinner, and it's more expensive than buying that. Not that this is going to cause us any problems, but it's a piece of plastic. So basically, if you put anything water soluble on this, like Distress inks, they're not going to stay on here. They could bead up, or they'll just smudge off. So they're perfect though for something like alcohol inks that are designed for non-porous surfaces, and this is a non-porous surface.
Oh, Anita was talking about what would happen if you splattered bleach on Brushos.
Yeah, I know. We already talked about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Where
Oh,
were
yeah.
you? You were
I don't
busy.
know. I'm
You were
sorry.
trying to cut your
I was
paper.
cutting my paper.
I said I don't know what would happen if you put bleach on them.
Oh, be careful where you're.
Yeah, because that's the only
Putting
thing.
on
I
bleach.
would not be good with it. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're just going to make a background by putting alcohol ink on it. So you pick whatever colors. Now you don't want to make mud, so I would say not go for any more than about 3 colors, and you're just dropping it. And you can get a splatter effect if you hold it up higher. And you can make it move around, let it drip around. This is kind of fun to do because you can play with it. Now it dries fairly quickly. Yes, you can blow on it. I didn't bring any straws down. If you have a straw, you can blow on it, you'll get some neat effects as well. And when you drop them so that they interlace with each other, you'll get some neat effects too. Alcohol inks are a lot of fun to play with, but they will stain your hands. That's why we're using the gloves. And if they get onto anything else, like your clothes, you're not going to get them out.
Any yellow
Yeah, there is.
lemonade.
They look darker in the bottle than when you put them actually out.
It's orange for lemonade. It looks like lemonade that you pass through.
So they just, again, this is something that if you're a control freak, don't use this product because you have very little control as to what it's going to do. Now you can take some blending solution, which is basically just alcohol. You can use regular alcohol with this, but I recommend that if you do, you use the stuff that's really like 90% or greater. But you can buy this from Ranger. It's a blending solution, and what it does is it will subtract color.
Oops.
So all I'm doing is I'm letting it run. And you just keep playing with it until you get something you like. And that's the worst part for me, is I never know when to quit because I'm fascinated by the way it looks. So I think that's good to stop there. And then I'm just going to hit it with the heat gun. Now it doesn't take much to dry it, and you don't necessarily need to use a heat gun on it because it will it evaporates in the air. All you have to do is just go to rangerink.com, and you'll find all this. They're the ones that make the alcohol inks, and I think you can probably get them off of Amazon as well. They're not cheap. Or if you have a scrapbooking store in your area, a craft store or a Michael's or a Joann's, you can probably get them there as well. The Brushos might be a little bit more difficult to get. I think you can order them online. Now the other thing you can do with alcohol ink is, when it's wet, you can dab it with a paper towel or soft cloth or even a sponge, and you can get some texture in it when you do that.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, hit it with the heat. Okay, so there's my piece for now. Now, this in itself I could use as a background, just like we did with the Brushos, but I'm going to save this because I'm going to put it through the die cutting machine in a moment to make my butterflies. But what if you don't have photo paper or you don't have Yupo? No worries. You can also use this on anything that's non-porous. So if you've got wax paper, you can do it on wax paper. Only thing with wax paper is it might be a little bit trickier to cut in your die cutting machine. You can do it on cardstock as well. But you're not going to get the spreading out the same because the paper will absorb it. But you can also, another thing you can put it on is metal, as in foil sheets. Now this is, again, this is a product from Ranger. It's...
Is that dry enough?
Yep.
Okay.
This is a sticky back.
That's mine.
This is a sticky back foil. It has a layer that you can peel off it and stick it like a sticker, but we're not going to use that today that way. But you can use just a piece of ordinary tin foil from your kitchen. And we're going to do the same thing, because alcohol inks work best on non-porous surfaces. So we're going to put some on this. So just pick whatever colors you're going to use and do the same thing again. Now this time I might show you.
Should I do a different contrast color?
You can if you want. Yeah, probably. I'd go lighter if that's your background. Or no, it doesn't matter. No, it's not your background. That's your other. So that's okay. You can do whatever you want. Now this time what I'm doing is I put some of it on it and I'm just blotting it. So I'm getting sort of a cloud-like effect with that one color, and I'll just build up from there. Now this technique that I'm doing right now works really well with something like that has a real high glossy surface to it, like a piece of metal or tin foil. Where's the... And now you see I'm just letting it run. And I think that's all I'm going to add to that one. Oh, I feel like Ken and Sean. Oh, wait. If I was Ken and Sean, I'd be going, never mind. That wasn't nice. Inside joke. Some of you will have gotten that. Some of you may not have. That's okay.
went really dark. Is that not
What's that?
dark?
No, it's so fine. There's really no right or wrong. One thing too, when you're drawing this, like the metal ones, be careful. When you hit them with the heat gun, they will be hot, and they will retain the heat for a minute or two. And you can buff them a little bit too when they're dry, but don't buff them too much because, like on this one, I kind of took a little bit of the color off, but that's okay. It's experiment. You have to experiment. Good enough color now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Let me make some room here for the next stage. Now again, if you want to create some texture on either one of these, either on the photo, on the UPO or on here, you can go over the top of it with a rubber stamp. Again, if you want to. I don't think we'll bother right now, but you can do that. But again, you've got to use something like a solvent ink like StazOn, or it'll just wipe right off if you don't. It is fun, Anne. You can spend hours doing this, and oftentimes if I need a lot of cards, when I used to volunteer at the art gallery, I used to make a lot of cards with people there, and I would make batches of these using this method because it's quick. Every card is unique. And they really look like abstract art. Well, they are abstract art, I guess. You'd say. Okay, so you've got all of those. Okay, I'm just going to move these out of our way. Show the people your pretty things.
Actually, my background paper looks the same as my front foreground paper. But anyway,
Which?
that one.
Yeah, but it's okay because they're not going to stay like this.
Oh, okay.
All right, so got to make room. Now we're going to get out the Big Shot. You could do this with your Cricut or Silhouette. I'm just going to use the Big Shot today because it's here. And I have a Tim Holtz die. It's called Butterfly Duo. It does 2 different sizes of butterflies. So what we do is we take what we've just cut, lay it onto here, put the other base plate on top. I don't know if this is going to take 2 base plates or not. Oh yeah, well, okay. And I'm going to use these as a shim just to give it a little extra pressure. And I'm running it through and running it back. And I've got my 2 butterflies cut out of that. And I'm going to, and don't throw that away. You can use the negative as a card front as well. We're not going to do that today, but, and I'm going to do the same thing with the metal. Because this metal is meant, and you do it with your tin foil too, if you had tin foil, is meant to be cuttable. So it will not hurt your die cutting machine at all. And so there's the negative. And these are my 2 metal butterflies. And again, they could be anything. You don't have to have butterflies. But one other thing I'm going to do, which happens to be with this particular die cut, it comes with an embossing folder. What an embossing folder is, if you're not familiar with these, is basically you put your paper in it and it put an embossed impression on whatever you're doing. This one matches up with this particular die, so it's got a place for each of these butterflies. So I just lay them in here. Close this. Now I gotta switch blocks. And I need one more of these. And might need a shim. Don't think that's thick enough. Where's the other plate? That's too tight. Yeah, might just work with just this. It feels a little loose. Might need a little bit more of a shim. Yeah, I need a little bit more of a shim on that, so. That's better.
Ooh, nice.
Now this will be something, I'll try to hold it up so you can see what I've just done. But now you're going to cut yours. So, I'll show those to you in a second. This plate, okay. Put your first
Up.
cup. And then put that on top. And put a couple of these on top of that. And get it in there so it catches. Okay, you're not on the bottom. Here, just a second. Hold your sandwich all together like that. And there.
Okay.
Okay, now take the knife. Should have cut it.
Well, I guess. Okay, and do the same thing with
Yep.
this.
And while Walter's doing that, I'll show you what these came out with the embossing. I hope you can see that. Now, of course, you can get embossing folders to do all kinds of things. I think I have a couple of hundred embossing folders, which I never use. But this particular die set came with the embossing folders to give this effect.
I guess that came out.
Yeah.
So then,
So now, if you want, did you cut them out both? Okay, so you want to emboss the metal ones. You could do the embossing in the Yupo ones too, but they come out better on the metal ones. So put your butterflies on top. Excuse me. Okay, now.
is that right?
Yeah, this you got it. If it's a little off, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, put that there. Put that there. Put this one on top.
Thought that one was too fat.
No, put it on top. Okay, crank her through.
Oh, cool.
So there, you got them all nice and embossed. Go show the people your embossed ones.
Where's my embossments? Oops. Flying away.
You fly away, fly away. Okay, so that brings us to the next part, which is the tail of it, and you can get rid of your gloves now.
Ooh, good. I hate wearing those. It's worse than wearing a mask.
Let's get these out of the way. Organize your butterflies. Okay, so all we're going to do now is, what I like to do is I like to double the butterflies up. Actually, we only cut, we're only going to put one on each one of these. We could have cut more. But I like to mix and match. So it's up to you. You can either put them as separate pieces on here, or you can double them up. So once it's on top of the other one, like I did with the display board, it's up to you. But to glue them down, we're going to use a little bit of Gorilla Glue. On metal, I find it's the best thing. So I think I'm going to use these two on here. And you just put a little bit on their spine.
So you're just doing a single?
I'm just doing these ones as a single on here. Now, Gorilla Glue is going to take a minute or two to set up. But the reason we're only putting it in the middle, especially with the tin ones, is because these are now bendable. And so it gives it that dimension. And I think on this one, I'm going to do this as a double layer. And try not to get your fingers stuck in. Hi, Nairi. Now, Gorilla Glue dries pretty fast, except on this one. And you can, if you're in a rush, give them a little bit of a hit with your heat gun. One warning with Gorilla Glue, there are fumes. Not a lot, but there are some. So, you know, especially when you're adding a heat gun to it. This one's not drying very well. Now, Yupo doesn't bend as nicely as the tin, obviously, because it is plastic. And I'm also finding that the Gorilla Glue is taking a little longer for it to set up with the Yupo.
I think on top, that because you layered them, that's...
Yeah, that might be.
Because I didn't layer mine.
And yours is dry better?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, lesson learned. Okay, so, there's our finished products. Take them over. Trying to get the light to shine on them a little bit. The lighting in here is not the best for this.
No.
So, but it gives you the idea. And you can...
I did this one as well.
And so, really easy to make.
Yeah, any idiot can do it.
Yeah, we just proved that. Yeah. Bummo says, these would be so nice mounted to hang them. Yeah, and I've done that. And you know what else they're nice for? Like, forget about using the card back. If you want to make embellishments for a present, for a birthday present or something like that, you can make up a bunch of these, and I've done that in the past, and have them ready to go, and you just stick them onto the package, and everybody looks at it and goes, ooh, wow, that's really cool.
Actually, I didn't like your colors when you did it, but actually it looks nice now.
I'm not an amateur. Like, bite you.
Bite you.
I'd like to say the same for you. Well, this one I like.
Yeah, that one I don't like.
That
as
one,
much.
eh. I don't like this one either as much, but I like the ones with the foil. I think they're nicer. Anyways, so that was Art Attack today, and we were free from talking about politics for the most part, so that's pretty good. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. And next week we'll be back on with our usual. Again, always looking for topics to talk about. So if you've got ideas, email them or put them in the comments box below. Oh, Anita says glue a pin back to one of the butterflies for a wearable. That's an idea.
Yeah, actually.
Yep, there, think that. Or you could take them, I don't know, do people
You wear
still,
them in your hair?
I was going to say, do people still wear hair clips? Little girls, do they still have barrettes or whatever things? You could fancy it up. Little girls always seem to like that kind of thing. You can put them on a pair of frames of old sunglasses for Halloween. Butterfly look. Kind of a Dame Edna. There are lots of things you can do with them. But again, we use butterflies, right? This method will work with whatever dies you have. And you can, as I said, cut them all in the Cricut. That's what I did with these ones. These ones were all cut using my Cricut machine.
Can you use the metal in there?
Yep, you can use the metal in it too. Because the metal really isn't metal.
Yeah.
It's another form of sort of a coated plastic than anything that has a metal-like look to it. So yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities here. So I hope you enjoy that. So catch my vlog tomorrow. It'll be up by tomorrow afternoon sometime. There'll probably be another idiot quilter up sometime this week too. And tell your friends. Here's something I don't usually say. If you really like this video, give us a thumbs up, a like, and share it with your friends. And all that kind of stuff. I never say that. But I thought I would. Okay. So we'll see everybody next week, if not before.
Yeah.
Have a good week. Stay safe.
Have a good week.
Have
Yeah.
fun. Make something pretty.
Make something creative.
Make something creative. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, Walter.